Hello, thank you for joining me today. I'm Amanda Fowler of Inspiring Inkin. Welcome to my craft room. In today's video we're going to be using this stamp set which is called Piece of Cake, and we are going to be also using a new style of ink pad from Stampin' Up which is called a Spectrum pad. It's a really cool pad because it comes to you uninked with 5 separate sections, and I am going to make this one into a rainbow ink pad, which is going to be really cool. These cards here that I have made already are using a different colour tone palette, and this is sort of more of an ombre effect. So I'm going to show you that ink pad as well, so that you can duplicate those kind of colours as well, and I'll put all the information in the see more at the bottom of this video if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're on my blog just scroll down and you'll be able to get all that information there. So let's turn the camera around and get crafting. So this is the Piece of Cake stamp set that we're using today. It's a photopolymer stamp set and it does come in a bundle with this fabulous punch. Now we're not actually using the punch today, we're just doing some simple stamping, but I just want to let you know that you can get the punch and it's bundled. So let's just have a quick look at these cards and hopefully be able to see the gradient and the shading, and this is just done with one ink pad, so it's really effective to give you a lovely sort of ombre effect, but we're going to go full on rainbow for this card. So here is the uninked Spectrum pad. So it's a different shape to our normal ink pads, and you'll be able to see this is felt. It's not foam like our normal ink pads, so it's quite tough for stamping. And this mechanism here, this is a lever, and what it does is it pushes all of the ink pads together, and then for storage what you do is you separate it out, because obviously what you don't want to do is for the different colours to start bleeding. So if I show you one that I have made earlier, and this is actually the one that I used for this card, I've put a little strip of paper, and I'll show you how to do that later. And this is the colours all already in here, and on the back I've actually written the colours because you probably won't remember, and it's quite tricky actually to tell which colour is which when they're all inked. So it is really important that you write on the colours, and like I say, when we're stamping with it we work with it like that. Okay. So one more colour palette. This is sort of my pinks and purples. Again, I did say at the beginning of the video, all these colours and an image of them will be on my blog, which is www.inspiringinkin.com, or if you're on YouTube, just scroll down and you'll be able to see it there. So let's get this ink pad inked up. Now, the way I work out how to, or which colours to use, is I get my markers and I play around with the colour palette. Now I knew I wanted to use quite vibrant colours, so I've got colours all out of the brights, and what I'm actually going to do is do a traditional rainbow really. So the way I learnt which colours were in a rainbow was Richard of York gave battle in vain. So that is a mnemonic, which basically goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then 2 more colours are indigo and violet. So yeah, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So these are all from the brights, so that's Poppy Parade, Mango Melody, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green and Pacific Point. So they're the colours that we're going to use. And here are the Reinkers. Now, whenever you buy a Stampin' Up! Ink pad, I always recommend that you buy a reinker at the same time, because you never know when you're going to need the reinkers. And I can guarantee that you'll be in the middle of a project and you need to re-ink your ink pad and you won't have the reinker. So always buy them with your ink pad. They last a long time, and as you can see, we can use them for lots of other projects and techniques as well. So I'm actually going to be quiet now. Once I've done the first one, I'm just going to walk you through it, and then I'll be quiet so I can speed up the video so you don't have to see me re-inking each individual section. So I'm starting with Poppy Parade, and what you want to do is just give a nice steady squeeze over the whole of the felt, and it will just keep absorbing and absorbing and absorbing. So I'm just gonna keep squeezing, and then I'm going to tilt it up so you can actually see. Just wait till that's sunk in. So you can actually see that this has pretty much gone all the way down to the bottom. There's a few areas where the ink hasn't quite settled out, so I can put a little bit more in those edges and those areas. But when it starts to flood like that, you know you've got more than enough, potentially too much, but we'll see. We'll just let that settle in. So, like I said, I'm just going to switch the sound off on the camera so I can speed this up. So you will have been able to have seen whilst I was re-inking, I have lifted off some of the colour with my little bit of chamois here. I've obviously got a little enthusiastic. You don't want it to be pooling on the top, so you want this sort of matte effect. So now this is basically ready to stamp. So the first thing that I'm actually going to do is make this label here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to lock these in. New ink pad, they didn't want to lock. And then I'm going to get a piece of Whisper White cardstock and just press it on the ink pad so that I can get all the colours. You can see them coming through. Let's just lift it off. And so you can see that they're there. So let's just press it down a bit more. There we go. Okay, so when this is dry, I will actually just cut a strip there. Okay, and can you see there's a little bit of overflow there on the daffodil. So I am just going to lift that off. It's obviously, I've just got too enthusiastic with my inking today. So learn from this and don't put quite so much ink on. And then I'm just going to put a little bit more daffodil just there, just to soften out that green. Okay, so that's that piece, that's that piece. So now what I'm going to do is just check the colours. What I've got is I've got a leaf stamp here. And I'm actually going to put it on so it goes over the whole of the ink pad. So we can just see what it looks like when it's stamped. That's so cool. So there you go. So there is absolutely a rainbow set of colours working through. So I am just going to let this sit just for a minute whilst I get the Stamparatus sorted out and the other bits and pieces. So I'm just going to put that to one side. I've got card blanks here. As we stamp, we'll decide which colour is going to go with which card. So it's a photopolymer stamp set, and obviously what we could do is we could just use our acrylic blocks to stamp it. But I'm going to use the Stamparatus because I can then do multiple cards. And I have actually set up the plates already. So on this top plate here, and this is always tricky as whether or not it's actually going to be in camera shot. So let me just move everything out of the way. So this piece here, this has got the cake stand and the candles. And then on this side, I have got the cake and the happy birthday. So I'm going to put that there, so that will help with the inking, and that one can go there as well, so that will help there. And yeah, so let's get some cardstock in and we can start stamping. Okay, so I've got my ink pad, and you have several different ways of inking it. So you can go side to side, which is the way I've done with this card. So in order to get that effect, I would actually ink up this way, or you can go top to bottom, but I'm going to go this way first, and I'll show you. So what you've actually got is, obviously you've got, let me move this into camera shot better. You've got your colours here, but your stamps are smaller. So when you're stamping or inking, then make sure that you kind of know where the colours are going to go onto your stamp. I move it just a tiny bit left and right, so the colours just blend a tiny bit. And I want the happy birthday to be the blue going this way. So I've got the blue this side. So I'm going to start inking up like that. And then press it down. And honestly, you don't know what you're going to get every time. Oh! Obviously, I didn't even ink that bit. So let's just make sure the colours are there. There you go. And then for the stand, I'm actually going to go the other way. So then I'm getting the reds, the reds. So you'll be able to see when it's stamped. Do you see? So that is where you've got more of the colours. So let's go again. Pop that down. And again, so I want the ink pad this way round for this piece. So I've got the blue going through. There, brilliant. And then this one is going to be more the reds and the oranges. Ooh, let's lift it up. Let me just pop that back down again. Brilliant thing about the Stamparatus, you can just put it back in and ink it up again. Yeah, fabulous. Okay. So I'm going to do, whilst I've got this set up, I'm just going to do another couple. This time let me just clean that off. This time I'm actually going to go the other way with the ink pad. So I'm actually going to go this way, just to show you a different effect. And again, if we do exactly the same on that, see, they're so cool. They're all cool. Right, let me just make sure there's no more ink on there. I've got so, look, honestly, I'm such a messy crafter. I'm going to have to pause the video in a second and go and wash my hands before I start sticking anything together. Because otherwise it's going to be a disaster. So yeah, let's go that way this time. You can have so much fun with this, honestly. And this would work great for a birthday invitation, something like that. Just restamp that bit. So you can, you know, you could do cards really, really quickly. So last one, I'm going to go this way again this time. So it's more oranges and yellows with a little bit of green, and then blues in the centre. There we go. Okay, so let me just grab these actually. If I move the Stamparatus out of the way, I'll just grab these. They're all different. And I'm just going to go with the magic of video and go and wash my hands, and then I'll finish off assembling the card. Okay, so that's a bit better. Let's get on with assembling the card. Move all of those bits out of the way. So, trusty Tombow. As I said before, I've got lots of different card blanks. But I think for this one, I'm going to go with the Granny Apple Green and the Pacific Point. So, I'm just going to use the Tombow and pop that one on there like so. There, and then just need to do a little bit of stamping for the inside. So let me just get my ink pad back in, and I've got the little lollipop stamps, so I'm just going to go with the red and the so Poppy Parade and Mango Melody, and then Mango Melody and Daffodil, and then Daffodil and Granny Apple Green, and then Granny Apple Green and Pacific Point. So there you can see all of the colours there. And then let's just give that a little squiggle of Tombow and pop that inside. And obviously you can decorate your envelope as well to match. Now make sure with your Spectrum pad you do separate them before you store it. Now I am going to take a little bit of kitchen roll to this one, and basically it's bled because I was just so enthusiastic with my re-inking. So learn from my mistake. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a piece of kitchen roll just to lift off some of that green and then put a bit more daffodil on, and then it'll be absolutely fine. Okay, so here's the final card. Here is a different card, obviously, with the ombre effects. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. For more creative inspiration, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and also subscribe to my blog, www.inspiringinkin.com, and you'll be the first to be notified when I have new projects and new creative inspiration. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.